All right, so today is May 26th, 2021, Wednesday. Right now it's about 2:30 and this is take 2. Unfortunately, I lost my entire morning trade video, my live trade video, which is a little disappointing because there was some great stuff in there that I wanted to have documented, especially about my first trade. So I will do a real quick recap. We have seen the daily large buyers coming in here, all the way rallying up almost 500 ticks here. So that puts us at the top of this range again. So expectation is that we will either test back down into this, we're already in this value, possible to rally higher and test these highs. And I've been saying that for the last number of days. So I got to the screen. I was pretty dang tired today. I played cards last night and didn't get home till after 1. And had a little on my mind too. So after playing cards, my mind is still running, so it's hard for me sometimes to just lay down and fall right to sleep. But it's okay. Did what I could do. So 5:30 I was up to the screen at about 5:40 with my breakfast and my drinks and looking for setups. So in the morning, what we were looking at is we were opening below value here. So this is when I got to the screen. We were right at the lower edge of value in range from yesterday. So my expectation at that point is, are we going to test down and push back up into yesterday's value, or are we going to hold the lower side of this and then come down? My expectation on the low side would be all this demand here. We do have some failures of price here. So any shorts, we'd have to be pretty cautious into these areas, but we had tested down to this 41 at least. So those would be my short-term low side targets. But again, with that huge demand that we've had, that large rally of almost 500 ticks, this is all untested. This is all kind of an untested area, so buyers could come in anywhere. My thinking was at that time, if I got a short on, I would be looking for it at least down to the 58, which is this low tick here, and then another low tick possibility here at 42. So those would be my short-term targets. And then if we failed these lows and tested back up into the range, would be looking for a test into the VPOC here, the upper side of value, and then possibly the top side of range, which is also this high from Tuesday. So that's what I was looking at in the morning. So within a pretty short time, we had this test up into the range here several times, and this is what I was seeing, and I kind of spotted this. This was definitely an order flow number bars setup as well. So my expectation was, through this chop here, were we going to come up, imbalance up, and then get some kind of setup to take that back into the top side of this value here that was there. And that's not what we got. A little bit of a risky counter context trade in a way, but we tested up into the range a couple of times. We had this weak low here to the left. This looked like it was going to try to push. This was somewhat of a push bar on an increase in volume, and then we get this, and then this increase in volume, and then a push down. So at this point, I felt confident with a fairly small stop. It wasn't too big. I entered it at 83 after this push to 80, and that was right about here. So great entry, great price, with a stop here at 91. So that was within my range of an acceptable stop. And then pretty quickly, within a few minutes, we got this nice. It's always nice to see this push, and went down to 67. So then that's kind of when the torture of this trade began, because it didn't exactly do what I wanted it to, which is just to shoot off into the target, as they don't tend to do that often. But my expectations on this trade is, where am I wrong on this trade on a short idea? And this was a great trade, and that's why I'm a little disappointed that I lost the recording when the software crashed, because I was sitting in this trade for 35 minutes, and it just really documented just trying to be comfortable in the discomfort of a slow, grindy trade. But at no point after this breakdown of this imbalance push lower was I wrong on this. So I'm here trying to think mentally. My process is, what should I lock in 10? Should I lock in 10? Which I had several opportunities in this, especially in this 73. And at the time, the picture of the profile, and I don't know if I'll be able to document that in this. Yeah, I will, because this is the visible bar profile. So this is what I sat through. So price was just grinding on this, either side of this profile, even a lot of times when we tested up here, I was on the top side of it. So I'm looking like, after this volume was put in here, I'm above the volume, which is never ideal. Above the volume again, above the volume again, but we never violated this structure here. So I sat in the trade, and then this was the last kind of clue that something was about to happen. You got this push up. So this was maximum discomfort on this trade, up to 78. But with a great entry, that's what's nice about an aggressive entry. With my entry above here, I can sit through this stuff, and then this push down, and this was kind of the last little spike down. Came back up, and then got it on, and pretty quickly came all the way down to the 50. My target was, had a little bit of a more discomfort in here when this large volume was put in, and that was around that 58 number that I had mentioned earlier. But some buying definitely stepped in here, and then we got that, and I held it. I was going to be managing real close, so I had locked in 20 at this point above this area, and then we pretty quickly got that final flush down to the 50, and that's when I locked in my 52, I think it was, is what I wanted, 52. And it said, I think 50, yep, 52. So that was a plus 31 tick trade, and that was nice. And then we sat around and grinded sideways for a little bit, and then we got a nice little spike pre-open, and then put in some real large volume. So this was the expectation of those large buyers coming back in, and this is the area that they chose to, or they were there anyway. And at this point, I didn't really have anything. I definitely, after the large volume was put in down here, I wanted to try to get something long. Highest volume down here being here, but then it became pretty dang volatile. And this was inventory day too, so. But I didn't really have anything that I felt real good about trading. So at this point, I'm definitely thinking, after that large volume is put in at the lows, long. I took another long trade after oil inventories at 837, and I took a full loss on that one, and that was around 837 here. So after we had this imbalance up, this is right at the news, and then came back down, retested the structure here, put in some pretty large volume here. At this point, this was the final failure that I wanted to try. So right here is where I got long, and I got taken out for a -9, or maybe it was actually maybe a little early, 837. So I think I was in here hoping that this structure was going to hold, and then I got taken out -9 here. So little unlucky on that one, but so my entry was 86. So I was definitely aggressive, pretty up here after this volume formed. So I was hoping that we were going to hold this area and flush it. It really looked like on the dome that was going to happen, and then we got this last push down. So oftentimes what I had done too, when I take a loss like that, a full loss especially, that I'd be kind of give up on the trade. But at this point, we tried down again, put in some significant increase in volume here, and I entered again at 839 just a few minutes later at 84. Same price actually as my short. So that's up here again. And then we put in this volume. So this was pretty uncomfortable sitting through this as well. And then we went up and spiked through. So the target on this trade, as we can see by this untested supply. So a lot of these highs that were weak, already been tested, and then the target was into the 66.10, and I don't think I quite got it because Price kind of chopped around for a little while before it finally made that little run here. It doesn't look like it in hindsight, but at the time we were kind of sitting around here. We put in this big volume at the round number, 66 round number, and then we pushed up right around here, went all the way up to 07, and then kind of came back down. This looks pretty insignificant, which is cool after the fact in retrospect, because it really wasn't anything. But again, the ability and the possibility of this trade coming back down to the round number at 95, or even filling in this space all the way back down to 87, was definitely possible, and we can see that's what happened here after I exited, but I took off 20 ticks. I locked in 20 at 66.04, and I think that was right here on this little push down. So overall, really good day. I was pretty tired, so I think there was potential, definitely another trade to take that up into the overnight high here, or that area after this structure was put in, came down and pushed down into here. So there was definitely a possibility for another setup in through here. This large volume put in here, testing it, can't make it. And then finally, this is a nice little clue, this increase in volume here, and then this push higher. So a trade back down to this at this 96, 97, 98 area. This would have been a fine long try into this area. And anywhere in here would have been a nice, so 95, 96. So anyway, overall, great day, feeling really good. Little disappointed that I didn't go live this week, because it's been I'm up some 75 ticks on the week already, but that's okay. I'm feeling more and more confident every day, and that's what this is about, is gaining confidence and getting ready to go live. So every day I win, every day I have good trades, and not just about having profitable trades, but about the confidence that my read plays out like I am seeing, and that these trades are working out. And even when they don't work out, it's just accepting that it just didn't work out. It was just another trade, and that I will move on to the next one. But it seems that I'm definitely on the right side more often than I'm not, and really excited about what's coming for me. I think that my mantra that is always in the back of my mind is 20 ticks a day is 480K. So I crushed that, over double that today. So expectations, tempering expectations, and in the live session today with Kelly helped a lot, keeping a positive mindset and mentality, and knowing that it's not necessarily realistic, the expectations that I put on myself, and I have to stop that. I'm doing a good job. I'm working hard. I'm trying really hard to get better, and that's all I can ask for. So I'm going to call this video, and see you tomorrow.